So again, banks are not just nice people. There might be nice people that work there, but they are making money. Okay, so when they loan us stuff, they would like to make money off of it. So that's what the point of interest is, and how banks survive is by charging interest. And so as we deal with interest, we need to know a couple things, just a couple uh, ground rules around interest. Simple interest is, again, it's just like, hey, here's some money. I want this percent of it back at some point in time. It doesn't like work against you if it takes longer. It's just, I just want this much back over this amount of years. Okay. Compound interest is how most people save for retirement, and it's just what it sounds like. It compounds, it gets bigger over time. So like the more money you have saved, the more it's going to get, it's going to grow a lot faster based off earning that interest. So interest isn't necessarily always like you're paying it. You might be like earning interest on investments you've got. And so principal is usually the money that was the initial amount. Okay, so again, principal is just kind of a fancy way to say the start. And then the given rate is usually always given as on a 1-year basis. And this is where I was actually calculating it wrong. My home equity line of credit, I use it to buy a car, and I thought I was going to have to pay 7% monthly. So I was like hustling, like, how am I gonna get this money? I'm gonna teach this Ivy Tech class. I'm gonna do blah, blah, like all this stuff to like save money or to earn more money. And then I realized like, oh, it's 7% for the whole year. So I ended up only paying like 60 some dollars in interest. But I guess I would have paid more if I would have not hustled, but I didn't have to like hustle so hard, which I'm just like, it was just embarrassing at the end of the day, but whatever. So again, it's usually given as the 1 year, and you have to adjust it based off the situation from that. So again, T is going to be time, and again, it's usually written in years. That's what you want to see right there, written in years. And then the future value is what it would turn into. So if your mom's asking for 100% interest on $5,000, that means she wants the $5,000 she gave you and $5,000 on top of that. So the future value in that situation would be $10,000. And so two little equations that are going to be the most helpful. The I equals PRT, that's going to be the most common that we deal with in here. And then the future value, you've got two options. Again, I just gave that scenario where the principal your mom gave you was $5,000. She wanted $5,000 additional for giving you $5,000, which hopefully your mom's nicer than that if she loans you money. And then another way to calculate that would be the fact that you can use this 1 plus RT, but in my opinion, that's a little bit more confusing. So I should just stick to these two circled in red right there. So we've got a restaurant here. Oh, just happens to be $5,000. So that's going to be our principal or our starting point, $5,000. And it's saying that the simple interest rate is 6.5%. And again, that is not, we don't want to write that as 6.5. We want to write that as 0.065. Again, I moved that decimal place 2 places to the left, 1, 2, so that I could drop the percentage symbol, and write it as a decimal. Okay. And then the term of the loan, that time is 3 years. By the way, I'll always curve my T's at the bottom like that because I don't want them to look like addition signs. So if you're ever like, why is it a backwards J? It's because I don't want you to think it's an addition sign. So if I'm trying to just find the interest first, so I've got I equals PRT. So we're just doing 5,000 times 0.065 and 3 again. I try not to use dots when I've got a decimal place. So usually I like put a dot in between, but right now I'm intentionally leaving it off so that I don't mess it up. So that will turn into, when you multiply those three things together, $975. Okay. So if we're looking at that future value, we have to pay back our $5,000. We have to also pay back the interest. So that future value is going to be the 5,000 plus the 975 to be $9,975. $5,975. Okay. And now this is the part where you got to be pretty savvy with the fact that this is years, because there's going to be a lot of times where you're going to have to convert that into months. Okay. So again, that time in months is going to be, if there's 12 months per year, it's going to be 3 times 12 to be 36 months. And that's going to be what we use for our last part. And again, the rest of all of this, the lessons from the rest of tonight, you're going to need to know a lot of times the months. Okay. So if you want to find the monthly payment, if you remember, it was 3 years. So that monthly payment is going to be that total that you owe. So you owe $5,975, and you got to pay that back in 36 months. So that division will give you 165.97